Welcome back or welcome if this is your first time visiting. Tina Hurley, Less Leg, More Heart, a charity that helps amputees. Love this platform. Love talking to you in your homes about wellness-based ideas, concepts, goods, services, stories that inspire you, things that just help you to liven up and lead your best life. I've got one leg, I'm on my last one, and I want to take care of my body and take care of my mind and take care of my life, show up the best in my life that I can. And in doing so, I've been intentionally following this path to people that do it much better than me so that I can learn from them and then share it with you. And in following with that pattern, I've brought on a personal friend of mine, a wellness coach for myself, wellness expert, Hannah Bauer. Hannah, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I am super excited about today's segment. We're going to be teaching you guys about quick fixes. I am a busy single mom that runs a business. And I have all the excuses for why I don't do the things sometimes, because I feel like it's going to be an hour long or 2 hours long of a commitment. I'm going to have to go to the gym. I'm going to have to create this elaborate 6-hour recipe that has to roast forever. Like, I have all of these, I think, untangible ideas of like what I should be doing that create this like barrier in my head and it like makes it exaggerated how many hours it's going to take or how much effort it's going to be. And some of it's true. When you're tired, we talked about this, like when you're tired, the last thing that you feel like you want to do is expend a ton of energy for the purpose of hoping to feel better. Like, we want to just boost little bits so that all of a sudden you feel a little bit more energetic and can move faster, feel better, move, be healthier, skin glowier, whatever the things are. So can you help our team, our people here in our audience, to understand some quick ways that they can feel better and why it's important as a concept to even share?
Right. So I think, to backtrack a little bit, quick fixes are always, I feel like, in nowadays, looked at negatively. Oh, everybody wants a quick fix. They want an easy solution. But when you look at the world and the way that it's changing, it is changing that way. Social media, the way that, Amazon Prime, all these different things are quick. Everything's quick. People want a quick fix because they are tired. Their lives are busy. We have so many responsibilities. So I have a couple of quick fixes that I swear by and things that help me because I am an incredibly busy person too. Running a business, doing side, freelance work, doing a lot of different things myself. I'm incredibly exhausted with low energy. So for me, some of the quick fixes that I really swear by are, the first one is sunlight. That's easy. You go outside and it's a sunny day, you sit outside for 10 minutes. The studies that show that 10 minutes of sunlight rejuvenate the cells, it gives your body energy, it helps to illuminate the skin, and it wakes up the body. So for you, if you're feeling really sluggish or you're feeling just, today's not it, I need to just it's not it.
Every day feels like
that. Like some days are just really not it. So I really suggest the simple things of what the earth has to offer. The earth is very healing. We need to just focus in on that. So sunlight is an amazing tool. 10 minutes, I've read more is great, but 10 minutes is plenty for this exercise. Another thing is replacing caffeine with chicory root or lemon, honey, ginger water. So those things, people wake up and they're like, I'm exhausted, I need my caffeine. But it's actually just a sluggishness in the liver and the body. People don't realize that. They're like, I'm just chronically tired. No, you chronically have a sluggish liver and you need to figure that out. But
keep slugging the brown juice.
Keep slugging the brown juice. That's totally fine. But a great way to feel really hydrated, especially if you're chronically dehydrated, is lemon, honey, ginger water. And that's exactly what it sounds like. Cup of water, cut up some lemon, juice your lemon, put some slices of ginger in it, and some honey. And it is the most delicious thing ever.
Refreshing,
it's amazing.
Light, crisp, almost cleanses your palate, takes your bad breath away.
It tastes like lemonade and you're drinking and you're like, there's no way this is good. But it hydrates your body. So chronically dehydrated people can be really tired. Their skin can be really dry. They just feel like crap.
You can tell. They're like ashen almost, right?
Yes, yes. So that is an amazing thing. So just to drink that for chronically dehydrated people, that's
a lot
amazing.
of people that I've known that are really high level educators in academia that teach courses on exercise physiology or metabolic adaptations or nutrition, et cetera, they have always said, and this is back circa early 2000s and before we're self-driving cars and stuff, but they would always say, wake up in the morning, first thing you do is have a cup of water. And we're like college kids, just chugging like monsters as soon as we wake up. We're like, you want us to drink just a water? Oh yeah, it's really good for you. And they tell you the science about why, and then it would fly over your head and you wouldn't drink the water. But then 10 years later, it comes back into your life again that like, oh, there was that thing you should have been doing. And so I'm here to tell everybody else, listen, I've been hearing this every decade for my life, and it's time for me to listen. So I think you guys should listen too.
Yeah, and lemon is an amazing anti-inflammatory, and it helps to remove bacteria from the body, and it helps to waken up and rejuvenate cells. So even if you just did lemon water, that's enough in that moment to give yourself the kick that it needs. Your body just needs to know that it's getting what it needs in that moment. And then another one that is really a big practice of mine, affirmations and breath work. Seems simple, but it is a really hard practice because you really have to show up for yourself. And when you have negative self-beliefs or things that conquer your brain, it is difficult. But showing up for yourself, there are tons of different options online for apps and different things that you can get to use for your affirmations, for your manifestations. And it can be as simple as just saying, I am showing up for myself today. I am doing the best that I can, and that is enough. Just giving yourself grace in those moments is a quick fix.
You know, that's actually changed my life. It's funny that you said that, and I keep interjecting because I feel like it's speaking to me so hard. But like, my mirror always has mantras, you know? And so like right now, mine is no grit, no pearl.
I love that.
Zoom out. And I think it's like share your calm, because I have a toddler. That's crazy. So like, anyway, my mantras are there, and it's just, as you mentioned, it's like that moment where first thing I do, I'm in the bathroom and I'm brushing my teeth and I'm looking at the mirror. And rather than just thinking about my day or starting to spin, like I read those things and it like means something to me in that moment. It helps me tune into that. And I change them every so often. But the first book I ever read that had anything to direct me toward that was Louise Hay. Mirror work, excuse me. It's a 21-day practice of affirmation where you literally stare at yourself in the mirror and there's this whole guided affirmation. And it was really uncomfortable at first because it was something like I had never experienced. And you're trusting in the fact that like you're hoping after the 21 days that you're going to feel differently toward it. And you do. But that first few days where like you're having to reprogram, like who just sits there and looks at themselves without putting their makeup on or altering their self to look better to the world rather than to feel better as a person. And it's such a different idea of staring back at yourself with a totally different intention. But it's powerful.
Very powerful. And on that is breath work too, is breathing. You think back and you think about, did I actually breathe today? Like you're breathing because you're human, but are you taking your deep breaths?
Short, shallow, tight.
And what does that do for the body?
Sympathetic nervous system activation tells me I need more cortisol. Kidneys are cranking it out. Hormones are going crazy. And then you're tired because that drops off and then you're chugging that brown juice again.
Exactly. And it's just like taking those moments to do. Even box breathing is amazing.
So good.
You breathe in on the count of 4. You hold it for 4. You imagine like you're building a box. And then you blow it out for 4 and hold that breath out for 4. And I believe it's 7 times. And they say by, even if you do it twice.
I just did it one time. I feel better.
Yeah, you just give your body the oxygen because it's giving your body oxygen and it needs oxygen. So
one of the other people that I worked with that's a huge educator in the field of yoga said that every time she transitions in her vehicle, she turns the car off and her practice is 3 breaths.
I love that.
She does 3 box breaths when she turns her car off, when she turns her car on, when she leaves a room, when she finishes an activity. And I have been very inconsistent with it, but when I was doing it for the day that I learned it, when I interviewed her, I felt like, I was like, someone asked me a question about the creation of the earth. I have all of the answers you need. Like, I felt so zen.
You do.
So breathing's so important and we negate it all the time.
Yes. I definitely believe in that so much. And in going off of that is in those moments, asking your body what it needs and trying to be present. You notice yourself really stressed out. You're really freaking out. Take a step back and just try to be present in that moment and say, taking my breaths, what does my body need? Because we don't always check in with ourselves. So my body right now, it needs water. It needs a hug. It needs space. It needs to call my mom. It needs food. It needs to rest.
Stretch.
It needs anything you think of. You hear it. You'll hear it and you'll be like, popsicle? Like I didn't.
My son always is yelling popsicle.
So like think about it. Your body's saying, I need a popsicle. So it's like, honor that. Have your popsicle. But like just listening to what your body needs.
It's so true. And I think some of the coolest guided meditations are the ones that start with the head to toe scans. My first introduction to that through Insight Timer was like a few years ago.
I love Insight Timer.
Yeah. And I just laid there and it was one of the first ones I ever did. And it was like, okay, Now get yourself laying in a
Mhm.
comfortable position and imagine that you're next to
You're like,
the river and there's a babbling
can't see the
brook and
river.
there's someone fanning you with a giant leaf. And now just scan yourself from your head to your toes. And I thought toe, like singular.
yeah,
And then as
it's
I
just the one.
what do you feel? Maybe a little bit of tight, maybe a little tension. You know, every time you breathe that breath light into that space. And I was thinking like, I mean, I'm submerging myself in this, you know,
Yeah.
like I'm going to just, if I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to do it. But it was like, breathe in light to it, spread the energy to it. And I was so naive in that moment to holistic practices of
Yeah.
wellness that I was like, okay. And I literally was like sunbeams coming down into my left
Yeah.
bicep because that's sore. And it actually felt better after.
Yeah.
And so I had all this skeptical belief
Mhm.
going into it and like ego stuff, like I feel silly until it works. And then you're going, dang, I should do that more.
Yeah, there's a beautiful meditation I love on Insight Timer, Deep Healing. And you do it for 50 days, so 56 days, and you listen to this guy talk for 20 minutes. The first couple times you're like, okay, because meditation is hard. It's all very difficult. But after the 56 days, the way that I showed up for myself and the way that I could look in the mirror and the pain that I was feeling was shed. And the way that I felt inside, the negative thoughts, or the way that I was just like heartbroken or feeling really gross inside, I would wake up and I would feel really strong and I would feel better. And I was talking to myself nicer and I was showing up for my friends.
Huge.
Talking to yourself
nicer.
That's so hard because you're like, you talk to everybody else. And so recently I've been doing that is a lot of loving thoughts. I say all these things to my friends and all the people in my life, but why am I not saying them to myself? Like, I'm a really cool person. So I just tell myself every day, I'm like, bro, you're wicked cool, girl. Like, keep it up. Like, loving yourself
I'm
is
a cool mom.
Like, you're cool. Like, you show up for yourself. Like, all the things that you're
Yeah.
admiring about other people is usually stuff that you have within.
Yeah. Someone said once, they're like, if you took a megaphone, I was out of gymnastics practice and cheerleading practice high school. So imagine those kinds of girls, right? Not to put a stereotype on everybody, but it was a tough aesthetic group and lots of catty, and it was rugged. And so you get out of that and you're young, you know, trying to imprint on your life and like, who am I? And like, what things I want to take with me and what things I want to shed. And in that moment, you're just trying to figure out like, what's my internal narrative? And so you slow down enough to focus on it. And I was beating the bag out of myself mentally all day, every day, about how I looked, about how I didn't have this, about how, I mean, all day. And so finally, a loving friend of mine just caught it once. And she's like, just imagine, because you're a cheerleader, you have a megaphone. And every thought is just broadcast out to people that love you. Like and just imagine their face when they're hearing the things that you say to you. Right. And I was like, wow, that's powerful. It didn't invoke change immediately, but the first step to even changing is to being aware that it's happening, right? And then second pass theory, you go back in and you start rewriting your narrative. But that's a huge one, Hannah.
It is huge.
Because it's draining, it's exhausting.
It's so draining. Being alive is draining. Your energy is drained and you just want to feel good. And it's so hard to feel good. And you listen to these meditations that are like, just feel good in the moment. And you're like, but everything is not good. But that's okay to be okay with the fact that everything is not good, but honoring that. Yeah. That's the same thing as taking care of yourself in the moment. Yeah. But one thing that I have been swearing by for the quick fix is this sea water, cell rejuvenating. I drink it in the morning. It does taste like you just drank the pool, but it's amazing.
I've heard a lot about this. Can I see the bottle?
Yeah.
So I actually heard a lot about this because it came up with my son's father's mother that has a lot of chronic health conditions. And she had said that this helped to augment the way that cells talk to them, and that there's something about, like, not that it's radiated water, but there's something about it, the way that it's made. You guys are gonna have to look because I don't even know.
Chloride. I think there's like sodium chloride, the same stuff that's in the celery juice.
But it's, like
calcium,
cellular messengers that affect genetic expression in a positive way. It seems a little bit vague for like the scrutinous like me, but it helps to improve the immune system, decreases inflammatory aspects, improves gut health. It says to do all the things that like you would want.
Perfect in the beginning. But it has your cells begin to talk to each other again. Cells become stagnant. They become, they're not listening. The body is so drained and burned out. Your cells just are like, peace. So this allows your body to start talking to itself again.
Whoa. And this product was produced in an FDA-registered, NSF-certified manufacturing facility that complies with the U.S. current good manufacturing practices. That's a different thing than what you see on some of these things. As you guys, I'm like protecting. I'm like, what's in this thing? And this is I've heard about this for a while, and I'm gonna try it.
Yes, you have to.
So what do people feel?
So my holistic doctor swears by this. I just started it this week, but within the week, I am the miles of difference is amazing. So I was struggling with insomnia for the last couple of weeks. I've had a lot of stress. I've had a lot of life changes. So for me, I've been, not sleeping, and I've been taking this for 4 or 5 days, and I have been sleeping through the night every single night, waking up at my alarm. And that is a huge change for me. Feeling really emotionally just drained, dealing with some emotional things, feeling really heavy. My energy's been heavy. Been drinking this. I've been waking up and I've been smiling. I've been feeling good. I wake up and I'm like, happy to be alive. Like, that is totally different. That is totally new.
Can I drink a whole bottle at a time?
You could probably. Your stomach might be a little
Is it
wonk.
a dose response? Like, the more you take, the better that is?
Well, it's 2 times a day, 2 ounces. So, like, as long as you like drinking chlorine, you'll be good. But it's a beautiful bottle to begin with. But anyway, it's cell signaling. And my holistic doctor told me this beautiful story. And she said she had either a client or a patient, or she knew somebody who had a brain injury. And he was vegetable. He was like, it's kind of like one of those things where we're going to try our best, but we're not sure.
Yeah.
Within a week of him taking this, his cells started talking to each other again, and he was moving and talking and doing things he wasn't able to do. People who struggle, or she was saying with the COVID vaccine, some people were just feeling really heavy with the metals that were in the body, and how do they support people who got the vaccine or were mandated to get it but didn't want the gunk in their body? This came back 97% effective after everything else was like maybe 1%, 2%, 97% effective.
It's a reasonable number to look into, my friend.
Right. And so I swear my holistic doctor is amazing, and she suggested this. I've been taking it a week. I've been sleeping through the night.
All right. Well, I'm a believer in good people recommending things that I know and that I trust. So I'm going to try it because I have it in my fridge. It's actually been there since the last person recommended it, and I haven't been consistent. Speaking of the last segment we did.
It's okay.
So maybe I'm going to get consistent today.
It's okay. And like, things come full circle and they come back, and it's the universe being like, hey, you tried this. Let's maybe try it again. Full circle moments.
You have those like God winks, they call it, or universal nudges, where things just present themselves in your path
constantly
until you finally like wake up and do the thing. This is mine.
This is a sign. So here's your sign.
Nice.
There you go.
What other quick fixes do you have, or are those just like a good equipment belt for folks? Like, we've got sunlight, we've got affirmations, we've got meditations, we've got rejuvenations. Man, we're just going with it.
We're going with it.
In some form or format. This is one of the many, I'm sure. Any other things you can think of, or is that like a good way to start?
So I would say that's amazing for the tool belt, because people just need a couple things they can pull out of their pocket.
Don't want to be overwhelmed.
No, but also brain shot therapy through the medical medium. So I have it on my Instagram. I can link some of that. But in the books, you can even Google it online. He's got brain shot therapy, and there are these little shots that help with mood stabilizer, negative stabilizer, heartbreak stabilizer.
Is it a shot or a
it's
shot?
It's literally a shot, a
drink
go to the
shot.
bar and you're like
okay,
taking a shot, but they have all the healing foods in it. But he's got one for energy, mood. I'm telling you, there's one that's literally called heartbreak stabilizer.
Nice.
And the things in it help to just help the body in those moments. So brain shot therapy through the medical medium is something.
And that's all linkable from your website?
Yes.
Okay,
and
cool.
also you can just Google it, literally brain shot therapy medical medium, and all of his recipes are on the site.
Well, man, she's really pumped us up with some options to live well. I know that for those of you that are, and like myself, you wake up feeling sluggish, or maybe there's something midday that happens, or just through your day you're getting pulled away from your center and you're feeling like you just need a little bit of a reset or a pump up, rather than going to those stimulants or some of those fallback methods that may be long-term more deleterious to your health. Step out in the sun, give an affirmation, do a meditation, try to think of one of these other smaller ways that maybe you can infuse yourself with that restart, that positive injection that you might need. And for more information about the many things that Hannah can educate you on with respect to this topic and many others in the holistic realm, visit Holistically Hannah. We'll put information up. And until next time, y'all, thanks for checking in, and best foot forward.